So really it's all the really little things. It's really about making everyone comfortable with coming out. It's less about sort of education, it's less about telling people that gay people exist, that transgender people exist. I don't know, there's a few little things that sometimes make me uncomfortable in this school. And I think the first one is the way we go about our English faculty. And that's our sort of creative writing, really. Now, the first rule of creative writing in high school is don't write cliches. But what is really required in schools and everything is to say, you can write about whatever you want. You don't need to use these stories as an avenue to get good marks, to like say something about someone who identifies in one way or another. It's really about making people seen as who they are. I mean, like, something else I don't like about my school is I mean, as I said, we're out and proud. But sometimes that'll be turned into a statistic. So I heard my principal say to me, well, in fact, we actually have 10 gay people in our school. I was like, oh wow, fantastic, you can put a number on it, well done. So it's things like that. It's like it's making them more of a number, of something to be proud of, or a badge or something like that, than an actual person. It's all about people being three-dimensional. That's how things are changed. It's about seeing people as people, not as objects. It's not about saying, I like this one person wears a skirt to speech day. It's that whatever. It's that we allow people to do things, to do whatever they want. It's just about seeing people for who they are and treating people as they are and speaking about people as they are, and that's how things have changed, I think. So it's more how teachers teach it, and they have not changed how to teach things. They say don't write cliches, and that's it. And they'll give the example of the cliche, which is the coming out story. They don't say you can actually change this to make it a good story. Something that we did later last year is we had a sort of online Twitter initiative where we created a hashtag, That's So Purple. We'd call up everyone who were using derogatory terms like, that's so gay. I mean, everyone knows what they are. And that sort of caught on in my school. I mean, people don't use Twitter in my school, but I would hear around the school people saying, That's So Purple. Even if they were being a little ironic, they would be using it.
Obviously, last year for Wear It Purple Day, language was a massive focus for us, and as Alex said, it can really make a massive difference. Language is the way that we perceive and understand the world. Like, we think in that way, and so a lot of people disassociate the phrase "that's so gay," for example, from what it actually means. You can hear someone say "that's so gay" and you pull them up on it, and they sort of go around in circles like, "Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I'm not actually talking about gay people," and they disassociate it. But the thing that they don't quite understand is that behind it is this pathology that gay people are synonymous, or the word gay is synonymous with lesser or with not great, or words to that connotation. And I think what people really need to understand is that up until the point where words like gay or any sort of identity don't hold that social negativity, up until that point we will never have an accepting culture. And so language is definitely something that's really, really important to try and shift, and it's a really achievable way for us to create supportive environments.
So one of the things Wear It Purple is doing, so we've got Wear It Purple Day, and that this coming year, 2014, will be its 5th year. And so it kind of started as an online thing, and it's since moved on and has become this big thing, hopefully. And one thing that's arisen from schools is, it's all well and good for us to have this one day, but what's happening beyond that? And that's what we're hearing from our young people as well, so the focus of Wear It Purple Day is to celebrate. It's a chance for schools, and anywhere, but if we focus on schools, for schools to publicly say, yes, we're a supportive environment and we intend to be that. Hopefully that's going to go beyond a day, but we have to be realistic. It doesn't always, and doesn't necessarily, and the day itself doesn't really ask it to. It's really a support and celebrate today. So Wear It Purple has kind of taken that, seen this need in schools, and we've since developed some stuff we're taking to schools. So last year we were fortunate enough to receive a grant, our only bit of funding, which is all very exciting, yay. But it was amazing, and we're able to develop some workshops that we now have to take into schools. So we worked with a group of, I think it was about 25 young people over a series of months to develop some workshops, and the premise behind that was that if we could send a few role models, so queer identifying role models, into high schools, to just be queer role models, so that we can get rid of this stereotype of queer people, rainbow people are unsuccessful, weird, whatever stereotype exists around it, and there are ridiculous stereotypes. You know, break that down, have some older people, some slightly more comfortable people who are able to stand there and be quite confident, and address, not necessarily, we don't really go in and talk, hey, stop bullying, because no one's going to listen to us when we say that. They don't even listen to their own teachers when they say that. But we go in there and introduce concepts of sexuality and gender, and this whole heteronormative thing, and start to break that down and introduce a language. And the purpose of that is that if, you know, we assume that the reason that there's poor treatment of rainbow identifying young people is a lack of understanding and a lack of education around it. So if we're able to start to introduce a language and introduce students who otherwise don't know anything other than that's so gay to what they're actually saying and to the real lives behind those words, then we're going to start to see culture shift. And so that's one of the things that we're really trying hard to do, and that's a much bigger project than just someone doing something in their school. But that's come from students. I think one thing to say is in the last, in 2010, someone asked a question about proud schools, and that is a great initiative in theory, and it's a shame that it hasn't gone any further, but at the same time, that's relying on people who don't care about this as much as we do, we being everyone here. And this We're a Pebble generally, and this whole workshop initiative is an example of something that has been a bunch of passionate people, and where there was a need, there were passionate people that previously and now still have no money to do it, but are doing it, and that's what it's going to take to start to make these changes.
In my school, the best thing that my principal did was when they took up the rainbow crossing on Oxford Street, she's like, I'm not standing for this, let's get one. And they painted the canteen area, so you have to line up on the rainbow stripes, and it's like, that was really exciting. And another really good thing about that is, so when Year 7s come for orientation, that's like one of the elements that gets shown to them like straight away, and it shows that we're really an open school and stuff like that. Another thing was my school was, teachers were allowed to be out, but they weren't so much out, but most people knew that, and that was really good to see that teachers could be out and the school was okay with it, and most students were okay with it, and it wasn't a massive issue.
So we've kind of heard about some amazing things going on in schools. My school wasn't so amazing, which is a shame, but for me it was about being a pioneer for the generations to come. So I challenged the school a lot. First of all by cutting my hair, then wanting to do a PIP about sexuality and gender identity, then doing my major work for Extension 2 about women in power, and then there was probably like a few more things in there, but that's alright. So for me, it was all about bucking a system, and I had big shoulders, still do, they're pretty impressive. So I had big shoulders that could take the grunt of what the school was pushing back at me. They sent me to counselling all the time, that did nothing, but it at least started conversations among young people about what was going on with the school, how they dealt with me as a person. So I actually eventually was able to do a speech to my school about what had happened and the bullying that I had received. And this was such an empowering moment for myself, but the conversations that went after it was what was the most empowering, because I realised that me as a person was able to speak to the hearts of 900 school kids. So regardless of what anyone says to you, as much as it hurts, and you look down and you feel down, your worth and your value has not changed. I suppose for me, the thing that was a strategy within my school was being a pioneer. So I hold on to one thing that Barack Obama once said, and it's that one person can change a room. And if one person can change a room, then one person can change a state. And if one person can change a state, then one person can change a nation. And if one person can change a nation, then one person can change the world. And so that's what I want to empower all of you to do. When you go back out there, and if you go back into schools, take that with you, that you can be the change in a child's life. And I had such great role models around me, and that's why I can be so much more brave about the person I am, and that's why I was able to speak up and say that, you know what, I can get through this. So hold on to that.